Hello, everybody. I think it's Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. And if it's not, you guys can correct me in the comments. If you guys are tuning in, I would love to hear from you guys. So say hi to us and we'll pop your name up. Today, we're here with Kevin from My Boys Contracting, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what people do in the contracting and construction industry. A lot of people, think, oh, I want to do this thing to my house, and they think that they can do it themselves. But obviously, you want to talk to a professional and, get them involved so you do it the right way and so it comes out amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Kevin in. Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
What's up, Celia? How are you?
I'm good. How are you on like I said, I think it's Wednesday. Everything kind of meshes together now in quarantine.
Yeah, I feel that. Everything's good here though. We're making moves, been working on the business and super excited to be here and grateful that you've put this together.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to take the time to talk to us today. So I would love if you could start kind of giving a little bit of background on you and your business, and I'm going to continue to share out the link to people on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, my brother and I, Dan, who right now is with the kids, somebody has to be with them, with my niece and nephew. We own a construction company that works primarily on the North Shore of Nassau County, doing full renovations of houses. Basically, what a full renovation is when we come in and we completely disassemble your home, sometime add some additions or different things, maybe add a basement, and make your house look brand new again. Primarily on the North Shore of Nassau County because we're not a huge company and we have the luxury of not taking on a tremendous amount of clients at any given point. And what this allows us to do is really put our primary focus on building relationships with our client, because it's something you want to make a new house and it's a long process. It could be months and sometimes even years, depending on how early on you start. We love it. There's nothing better than bringing a client to their finished home and seeing their face when they walk in and understanding that they know that this is their forever home, and there's just nothing better than it.
That's amazing. And you mentioned that you work with your brother. I believe that you have a family business here. Is that right?
Yes. So we are the third generation in the company. We took it over from my father about a year ago. My brother's been working with him for about 2 decades now, which is kind of scary a little bit. And I've been with them for on and off for about a decade, full time for about 6 years now.
That's amazing that you guys are able to, work as a family and do all of this. I would love to hear a little more about how it is working with family, because I know that my family, we're all involved in my dad's office as well.
Oh, I love that. And I would love to hear more about that too, because I did not know that. So working with family it has its ups and downs. I will say that. Mainly positive things. I would say in the beginning, it was a little difficult, especially when there's 2 generations working together, meaning, we were still working with my father kind of through this transition to us taking over the company. And there were a few things here and there where we didn't really see eye to eye. And I think my brother would say the same thing. But it's refreshing because being able to combine the experience factor and then also just a breath of fresh air and a new wave of understanding and just different ways of thinking really can create such beautiful things for a business. But working with family, I mean, the key thing is having open communication. I can't stress that enough, because if something is bothering you, you want to tackle it while it's a small little nothing before it turns into a monster, because that is what could destroy businesses and ruin relationships and families. So we have the luxury of having that understanding and really tackling things while they're small and never really getting into any full blown arguments. And working with family It's a really nice thing. I mean, I love it. I would never pass it up for anything.
I agree. Yeah. And I mentioned, everyone's involved in my dad's office. He does orthotics and prosthetics. I do the video stuff. My brother does the graphic design. My mom and my dad both run the company, and my sister is now the receptionist. So, I'm very
Awesome.
familiar with that. And at one point or another, some of my grandparents worked there. But, working with the family is a really cool experience, and not everyone gets to do that. So I'm glad that you get to experience that.
It really is. I love it. My brother and I are as similar as we are. We're also very different.
Mhm.
We both bring two completely different things to the company.
Mhm.
Whereas he's very creative, more hands-on, and I am more part of the business development and the
Mhm.
sales and the marketing. That's what I love. So combined, we create a great team, which is I could never ask for anything more. So.
That's awesome. So obviously you guys are working in construction, contracting, whatever. We're going to probably interchange those words throughout today's conversation. But what are some of the different, kinds of projects that you guys have been working on? I would say more so lately. I'm not talking about pandemic lately, but like in the past couple of years, what have been some of the bigger types of projects you guys have been working on?
Sure. And excellent question. So construction is a really cool thing, and it's a really interesting industry because there hasn't been a tremendous amount of change in construction that has taken place over the decades. A lot of people who are in construction have been in construction for a very long time and typically continue to do the same things that they were doing 10, 20, 30 years ago. The only thing that kind of updates really is the materials. So our company has really put a primary focus on full renovations of houses, typically higher end custom homes. But recently, over the last year or so, we actually have been discussing and now also in the process of opening up another division to our company, which is going to be directed towards less of the higher end and more of the kind of middle market. So your typical house that you would see basically anywhere on Long Island.
Mhm.
um, the difference is instead of us going in and spending, you know, 8 months on average, sometimes it's six, depending on how large the project is. Instead of spending all of those months in your house invading your space and you while we're friends at the same time, in the back of your mind it's like a love-hate kind of thing because we're in your house, you don't want us here,
I
but
get
you also do want us here because you want us to finish and make your house look beautiful. So we were able to figure out a way where we actually started working with a company up in Westchester that basically what we do is we build projects off site and then deliver them to the homes. So I'll give an example. If you have a typical 1,200 square foot ranch, which is a house that you can find all over Long Island, and you wanted to put a second story on that house,
it. Hmm.
typically what that would take is usually between 4 and 6 months of construction, and it sometimes could be longer depending on certain things like pandemics. Just had to throw that one out there.
Hmm.
But so if you wanted to put a second story, it could typically take somewhere between 4 and 6 months, which, as great as that sounds, to have to leave your house for 4 to 6 months, and I'm being sarcastic,
Hmm.
it's not fun. And what this allows you to do is actually be able to build that second story off site, bring it to your house, and get that project done in actually less than 2 weeks, which
Oh, wow.
our main focus here is really kind of minimizing disruption costs, and not just monetary disruption costs. I mean, emotional costs too, because a lot goes into what 4 to 6 months can do to just someone or a family or anything else that you want to use to kind of describe that.
Yeah, I know that my parents, they've redone the kitchen enough times that, we definitely would have benefited from not having to deal with months of, eating off of a hot plate. Um,
Yes.
but but that's really interesting, and I think that's a really cool idea because, you know, people don't really think of like how it mentally affects you to be, working on a house for so long and having people coming in and going out and all of that. So having the ability to bring a mostly finished project to the location and kind of work that way definitely is probably like the most appealing thing that I've heard this week. Because if I wanted to do like an extra room on the back of my house or something, and I can, take 2 weeks instead of like 2 months, isn't that a no-brainer?
You would think so. And it actually, it's interesting because as much as we focus on limiting the disruption costs, which
Mhm,
really has always been a focus in our company, even
mhm,
when we still are currently doing these high-end custom homes,
of course.
we look to make it as seamless as possible, putting
Mhm,
some sort of a system in place. And I mean, this takes the system that we've put together and multiplies multiplies it by probably 20 because of the time factor. But it's interesting because even the cost of this is even a little bit less than what it would be to do a typical what we would refer to it as a stick building construction. So it's
mhm.
pretty cool. It's exciting stuff, and looking forward, it's something that I feel could be very transformational for the industry, which is super exciting.
Yeah, and you guys are getting onto this early, which is amazing. So I wanted to ask you, for someone that wants to do, I don't know, work on their house, how do they start? How do they start working with someone like you? And like, what is the process that they go through to, I don't know, get the projects rolling?
So that can look like a lot of different ways. Um, Sometimes it's, somebody finds an architect and they look to try and put together whatever their dream home is. Other times somebody has friends that, maybe they're in the industry or they recently just did a project and they get ideas from them. And then what's typical for us is a lot of times people come directly to us and look to put together some sort of an idea of what they're looking for prior to going and making the investment of, finding an architect and going through any design plans and all these different things that, are the in between points of,
Mhm.
okay, idea to actual bringing it all together. So I would say typically what people do is they come to us, we have that initial meeting. Um, Basically, what that looks like is me asking a ton of questions, just like you're doing right now.
Mhm.
And what we do is I look to see exactly what it is that they want and what they need. And those two things right there make it where I can put together some sort of an idea, what we call as a range on what they would be looking to kind of go through with this project. And then we work out the little details along the way. But that's typically the norm, is where people are coming to us and we look to kind of filter out the things that they want and the things that they need.
That makes sense. And obviously, like these kinds of projects aren't, well, sometimes they're a small project, but they're something that obviously has a lot of planning involved. You mentioned what people want, what they need. Obviously, like they need to figure out what the budget's going to be on these things, and put that all together so that they have a smooth, process through working with whoever, uh, you guys or whatever contractor they're working with. I know that sometimes projects, if they're kind of being, for lack of a better word, winged, they may not, come out as well and come out with all of the things that the person had in mind. So it's great that you sit down and figure out these things with the clients.
That is key. And you bring up a really good point, Celia, because it's something that I noticed coming into the industry was
Mhm.
something that there was a lot of what you refer to as kind of just winging it. So we take a lot of pride in the fact that prior to a project starting,
Mhm.
every single thing needs to be picked out and for the most part ordered. So what that does is it completely eliminates the idea of any sort of delay happening. So while, this doesn't have as much actually, I guess it does still, we still do, all the design and picking all that stuff out, even with this other division of our company that I'm saying. But that was one of the main things that kind of made it where we can put together a system for carrying out a project and doing it on time, on budget, minimize change orders because that's something contractors are notorious for.
Mhm.
And just the whole goal is how we can reach a level of satisfaction for our customers that nobody else can. That's always the goal,
Yeah,
providing value.
providing value is always the best goal to have, because obviously I've been talking about providing value with, putting out videos, putting out photos, putting out content, but you guys are providing value, and you guys are basically creating the place where people are going to spend their lives. So it's like it's a really cool thing to think about, because if you're doing like a bathroom remodel or a kitchen remodel, this is a place where people are going to spend a lot of time, especially the kitchen. I know for my family, we all congregate in the kitchen, and we have our little dance parties and stuff in the kitchen. Yeah, don't judge us. But
Oh no, I'm right there with you.
but it's such an important space. So all of the planning, all of the, like you mentioned, picking out the different things, and all of the work that they're doing with you guys to figure out what is my I guess life going to look like after the build is so important. I wonder, do you guys like, I know that on your website you say you do like kitchen and bathroom remodels. What's a more fun project, a kitchen or a bathroom?
So, I will say,
Hmm.
technically, we do kitchens and bathrooms.
Yeah,
Um,
you do a lot of
it's
things though.
it's yeah. So as general contractors,
Hmm.
we wouldn't just take on a kitchen
Yeah.
or just a bathroom,
Hmm.
but I would say, so when we're doing a project, typically there's a
Hmm.
kitchen and multiple bathrooms and other things involved.
Hmm.
But if I had to say which one is more fun, I would say definitely the kitchen. It is a lot of fun to design a kitchen or
Hmm.
work with the designer. Um, and it's typically exactly what you're saying. It's the space that homeowners typically spend the most amount of time in.
Hmm.
So knowing that you're able to kind of put together something that someone's going to be spending, I mean, I don't know what the exact percentage of their life
Well, just say a lot.
in. It's a lot. It's
Uh-huh.
really cool to know that. And it just makes it where you put that much more emotion into it and you put that much more thought, and it's such an amazing thing to be able to do that.
So obviously, like the world has kind of changed in the past few months. So how did you guys pivot to, the pandemic world that we're currently in? Obviously, before that, you guys were busy running out to jobs and working with people. How have things changed?
That is a great question, because you would think contractors, you need to be on site,
Hmm.
that's, which that is 100% correct.
Hmm.
Um, being that luckily this time that we're in, it's not permanent, or at least we all hope so.
Here's
But
to that.
yeah, cheers to that. So, um, about, I guess, how long has it been? What is it,
I
8
would say
weeks
it's
now?
probably like 2 months. We're gonna go with 2 months.
So we'll say 2 months. We did have to close down. We work in a lot of villages.
Hmm.
So at the end of March, we did close down everything, and our sites have been closed. Putting cameras up was a lot of fun. um, Basically, what we did is we moved everything virtual. And there was also a couple of other things that we did. So any ongoing pending clients that we were working with to
Hmm.
design their homes or kind of move them along with the process, that all happens over Zoom meetings now.
Okay.
Um, outside of that, with any of our current clients, I can't say how important, and this doesn't just go for construction, but I can't
Mhm.
say how important it is to just keep everybody informed.
Yeah.
Every single week, we're reaching out to our subcontractors, we're reaching out to our homeowners, we're reaching out to our employees, just
Mhm.
keeping them updated and informed. Every once in a while, we'll send out some tips or something funny, and people seem to like that just to kind of lighten the mood a little bit.
Of course.
And then the other thing is we really we've always been active on social media. I put the link below here. I think you can see it.
Mhm.
But
I
over the
also have
last
it in the description if people want to click on it.
Cool. So over the last couple of months, I was looking for different avenues and trying to think of different things that we can potentially do during this
Mhm.
time. I mean, we have some carpenters that uh, they're not really doing too much right now, except
Mhm.
probably getting a lot done around their house.
True,
So
they're gonna have a whole new house by the end of this. It's gonna be wonderful.
so I did recently. I found a company. Actually, no, sorry, they found me, which was you put it out into the universe, and it comes right back to you.
Uh-huh.
So after a few weeks, or probably a little over a month of searching, uh, a company called VisionWorks. Their Instagram is at VisionWorksNY. Liz and Lauren, that's their names, have put together a such a just beautiful project. Basically, what they do, yes, there we go. So basically, what they do is they build vision boards and they're shipping them all over the country. So it started where it was just on Long Island, and now I mean, I think they're shipping them out to California, Alaska, all these different, oh yeah, all over the country at this point. And ever since the ever since kind of this whole COVID situation started, people need something like that more than ever. I mean, you're sitting home and you're in isolation. You don't really have things that you can be accomplishing.
Mhm.
It's human nature to need to grow. I mean, basically, it's. I don't want to sound harsh, but if you're not growing, you're dying at that point. It's human nature.
Mhm.
So what they've put together is just such an amazing thing that they actually host virtual events where they're putting together these vision boards with people all over the country, and it's so amazing. So they needed help building their vision boards. So we recently partnered up with them, and we're building a bunch of vision boards for them. And I actually was with one of my guys building them this morning, which was a lot of fun. Definitely, it's definitely some work, and we're so happy to have been able to have the opportunity to even be a part of this. So
I'm gonna
good things come
pull,
when you put it out there.
it's Liz and Lauren's, right?
Liz and Lauren,
I'm going to
they're
I'm gonna pull up their Instagram real quick.
awesome.
Because what exactly are you making for these vision boards? Like what exactly, like I guess we're gonna see in a second, but like I see all this wood and all of these things. So are you guys making more so like this outer part of the vision board and it gets sent to someone, or like what exactly are you guys making?
That's exactly what it is. So what they're building right there, if you look at that first post, that's actually I sent them pictures. That's
Mhm.
that's that's from my guys yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so that's all
Mhm.
that's where I was this morning.
And I see your comment up here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's really cool, but that is what we're building. So we're actually basically taking a sheet material and we're
mhm.
framing it out, we're staining it, and then there you go. That's exactly what we're building. And then
That's what I was
people have
looking
the opportunity to put their visions on there and
for. Mhm.
hang it up and do whatever they like with it. And it's such a cool thing.
That's awesome. And you mentioned that you guys are on social media a lot. So I'm gonna pull up you guys on here real quick because I know exactly how to find you. And you guys, like you mentioned, you have your tips, you have behind the scenes of different jobs, and you have like all of like obviously your graphics. But what drove you guys to want to be so involved on social media? Because I know some companies are nervous about that and nervous about how oh, I'm never going to have anything to post, and like what am I supposed to do, like.
So I would say the number one thing is we love to show not only just being able to connect with people and see what everybody else is doing, because there are so many creative people out there. I mean, I would have never met Liz and Lauren if I wasn't on social media. So that's a prime example. But when you go through, there are so many talented contractors and architects and and that's just my industry. There's so many talented people out there that you just want to be able to connect with. It's
Mhm.
such a cool thing. But I would say the main reason why we really wanted to get involved on social media and kind of take this to a level where it's just, oh, we post every once in a while, to let's post on a regular basis and kind of put some structure to it, is we want to show people that we're just people. That's all we are. We're just a family. We love to build houses for people, and that's really it. So being able to best kind of get that point across without, I don't know, uncomfortably going to people's houses all together as a family, is doing it on social media. There's nothing really to it. I mean, you can put some structure to it where you're posting certain things on certain days, but you just, as long as you're real and you're who you are, there's really no difference to really kind of just being who you are in person. But it's just cool to be able to kind of get the message out there on kind of what you're about. I mean, just for example, doing this collaboration, um, this is actually the second one that we've done. We did another one earlier where we built out some kitchens and for a not-for-profit out in Community Mainstreaming Associates, CMA. We did a project with them where we did some pro bono work for them and built out some kitchens for some of their homes. And just being able to do stuff like that, and being able to talk about it with other people on social media and see how else we can get involved, it's just opens up a whole new world for people. I highly encourage anybody who's not on social media as a business, because I won't get into it on the personal side. I don't really use it for the personal side too much. But anybody who has a business out there that's not on social media, I can't say any more better things. It's definitely something that takes a little bit of time to kind of get more and more involved with. But I mean, the things that you discover and the people that you meet, it's priceless.
I definitely agree. And you guys obviously have a very distinctive brand of like, hey, we are a family. We're all working together to create this home for you. And I think people resonate with that because, you guys have a very set, like, hey, when you come to the My Boys page, this is what you guys should expect to see, especially because, obviously I work in branding. And obviously my brand is, hey, I want to be positive, and hey, take a look at these cameras. I function through there, so people know to see that on my page. And I think it's really interesting because people love to learn about different things, see different things, and connect with people. And social media is perfect for that. And Victor over here says that you're 100% right with everyone should kind of embrace and, hop onto social media to share their story, whether that's through their business or share their story as a person, to grow that community and, meet different people. I know that we met through a networking group, but, I've met so many other people, and some of them have even been on this show through, being on Instagram. It's a crazy new
Awesome.
world. Yeah, there's so many options out there, and I think it's so awesome that you guys like ended up in this collaboration because of social media. Which
It
is
really, it's you can't ask for anything more. I mean, it makes the world an even smaller place, but in a good way.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the funny thing is like, especially when you do a collaboration like that, or like, for instance, I have someone on this show. I had a bunch of people be like, I had one guy on here, his name is Paul. And everyone's like, oh my God, Celia and Paul know each other? Oh my God, I know Paul. This is amazing. just the connections that people have. You never know who people know, and just, showing up with these different people, doing these different things. In your case, if you take a picture of like a build that you guys do, and people are like, oh, that's exactly what I want to do at my house. There's so many connections that people can make.
Yes.
So I know that you guys are doing tips. So, I want to show one of them. What's your favorite one over here? And we'll share a tip with the audience.
Let's see. Well, if you wanted to do a quarantine one, the one of my brother right there, right below the two of us, he's doing along with the pictures next to him, he's doing a really cool DIY project at his house currently right now, around the clock while he's watching the kids. Okay. And he's doing his mudroom right now. So he did a little. I think that one is either his mudroom or he just had a really serious issue with his plumbing. I don't remember which one it is.
Well, let's take a look at that real quick. Ready? And
let's do it.
Hey guys, so during these unprecedented times, while we're not allowed to work on your houses, we are allowed to work on ours. So I'm just getting some plumbing today to get ready to put a mud job in my mudroom. The previous owner of my home decided that it would be a good idea to run the pipes through the floor. So I ripped out all the old tile, and now we're getting ready to do new tile. So yeah, I got to cut out all the plumbing and get everything ready for the new mud job. Hey guys, so during
so there we go.
You could, if you want to do one of the tips there, I've been doing time-lapse Tuesdays over the last few weeks, just kind of for what's going on, but the tips are a little bit, you could get one down below. You could do that one. You could do to the right of that.
The one of you?
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
We have cool intro videos for all of them.
All right, here we go.
Tips!
This nail seems to be protruding a little bit.
What are you talking about? Why, from my boys? Today's Tool Tuesday. I guess this nail's gonna need what we call a nail set. We use these a lot, especially when we're doing trim like this around doors and windows. The guns we use to shoot these nails, for the most part, get them inside the wood. But every now and then there's a little nail protruding, as Kevin noticed. So you take your little nail set and a hammer, put your dandy little nail set on that nail. A couple of knots. Tips! Now the nail's in the wood, ready to be caulked, sanded, painted, stained, whatever you need to do. You'll never even know there's a nail there.
And I think that, you guys have a fun way of, giving people information, but also the fact that you guys are doing these educates people on what they may not know about, building or things in their own home or how things are done, which I think is
and that's really what it's all about. I mean, we're all kind of a bunch of weirdos, so we like to make funny stuff and have fun on the job sites whenever we can. But really what it's all about is to be able to just provide some sort of value. I mean, that's such a simple thing, but it's one of those things where it's simple for us because it's something we do every day, but you don't really know. I mean, if somebody has nails sticking out in their home, what's the first thing that they're going to think? I mean, you can just take a hammer and nail it in, but it's not going to be clean. You take that nail set and it's perfect. I mean, that's something that you can get for nothing at a Home Depot or a Lowe's or something. And it's just the little things that we try to kind of point out and put a little humor into it too.
Definitely. And also, obviously, people are going to watch something that's fun and funny rather than, someone going, hello, today we are going to talk about a nail set. what a nail set is
Yeah.
it's just something that keeps people's attention, and letting obviously you and whoever else are in the videos personalities come through is going to make it seem more genuine and for people want to work with you, which is an amazing branding technique.
Awesome.
So, we've been talking a little bit about your tips, your branding, and things along those lines. And obviously, you guys are a fun group to work with, and you guys are doing all of these collaborations, and you guys are super connected on the island. So I know that you do this thing for real estate agents. Would you be able to tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So real estate is something that I have a passion for. I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad about 5 years ago, and it completely shifted my mindset on real estate. I'm sure some of the viewers have read it. It's a pretty popular book. But from there, I was going to a lot of different meetups, kind of just looking to specifically meetups for real estate and kind of just looking for a place to learn a little bit more and potentially get involved. And what I was noticing is a lot of it was great. A lot of it was amazing. There just wasn't a lot of networking involved, which I can't speak to. I can't say if it's any different nowadays. This was 5 years ago, which I mean wasn't very long ago, but at the time I was living in Bayshore, and so I was out in Suffolk County. I was going to a lot of meetups out in Nassau, and like I said, there wasn't a tremendous amount of networking, so I wasn't getting a lot of the benefits from it. And I really wanted to interact with people that were kind of like on the same page as me too. A lot of the people I was talking to, they were all very experienced and didn't really want to give me the time of day. So what I did is I found a website called Bigger Pockets. If anybody is looking to get involved in real estate or is actively involved in real estate and does not know what Bigger Pockets is, I highly encourage that you check it out. It's such an amazing resource. Their podcast and also their website their website's like a community. It's insane. There's millions of blog posts on there that have to do with any type of real estate you could ever think of. It's insane. But what I did is I set up a meetup through Bigger Pockets, and this was about 3 years ago. I still do it. It's current. We actually shifted it to a virtual platform. So I'll be doing another virtual one. It's the first Wednesday of every month. I do it out in Bayshore at the Great South Bay Brewery, 7:00 the first Wednesday. If anybody is interested or, involved in real estate or looking to get involved in real estate, I mean, we have everybody from attorneys to accountants to investors to flippers to multifamily syndicators. I mean, it's endless, and it's a cool crew. I like hanging out with them. I made a lot of friends, did a lot of business with people in it, and it's something that, like I said, it's a passion of mine. I do it where I stay a little bit more passive with it. I'm not super active because I have my construction company, but it's such a phenomenal way to generate wealth and to also help people out too. I mean, believe it or not, sometimes it gets a bad rep, but there's a lot of really, 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 really good people out there that are involved, and it's super cool.
Yeah, you brought up a really good point. Like, sometimes in different industries, it is hard to network, and you are giving people a place to come together and share ideas, and everyone can either work together or, grow together, which is amazing.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's free to attend, and I buy pizza for everybody every month. Mm-hmm. Thanks for My Boys for being the sponsor. But it's really cool. Anybody interested, you can always reach out. Reach out to me on Instagram, or you can email me, whatever it is.
That's awesome. And I know you're a big networker, and you know the value of meeting different people and figuring out how you can work with them, because I know for me, when I go network, people may not need video services right away, but building those connections and building a community of people that you're I don't know, communicating with and building relationships with definitely helps in business.
Yes. So. Could not agree with that statement anymore. It's perfect.
Yeah. I know that you also are doing a mastermind right now. So would you be able to tell us a little bit about why do you do all of these different things, and what is this mastermind that I've heard so much about?
So yes, about 8 months ago, I started putting together this idea, that because at the time it was just an idea of a mastermind. I always, anything that I look at, I like to try and take different things that I'm passionate about, and tie it into where I can provide some sort of value. And that combination, it's always a recipe for something amazing. So about 8 months ago, I started working on this mastermind, and I wanted to, it actually originally started where I was looking to use it to basically teach people around the country all about how to either start up or properly run a construction company. And I was going to do it with my brother, and we had all these different ideas, and I started to realize that it was a lot to do, especially for his current situation. So I put that on the back burner for just a little while, and I think it's something that we'll entertain down the road. So what I did is, the other passion that I really have is helping out other millennial business owners, because a lot of people don't know this, but most millennial business owners, and I want to say the percentage is like 90% of, or a little bit more than 90% of millennial business owners are sole proprietors, which basically just means that it's just them. So they don't have any employees, which is not a bad thing. But it also, I'm sure if you asked the majority of them, they probably want to grow their companies. And in order to do so, typically you need help. And my goal is to assist people with just bringing them to an area, and in this case, it's a virtual room, to be able to provide a safe space to be able to think differently. If any one of my members can walk away with one impactful thing that is either going to have a positive or empowering impact on their business or their personal lives, I know that that's a successful meeting right there. So what I did is I started putting this together, and I personally, over the last couple of years, have done I've dedicated a lot of time investing in myself, I guess you can say. So I worked with Tony Robbins for all of 2019, and I traveled to different places in the world to take courses with him and do all these different things, and reading all these different books and doing all these different courses. And really the why behind it was always so I can utilize that information and give back. And what I'm doing now is, when this whole COVID situation happened, I expedited that process because I had a little bit more free time. And instead of launching this in what I was anticipating to be June or July, I launched it about 5 weeks ago. And basically what it is it's a room of millennial business owners, and I'm just facilitating the meeting where we're all kind of bringing all of our resources together and tackling whatever our challenges are, whatever our opportunities are, and looking to try and just bring together and come together and grow together, because what more can you ask for? So it's something that I'm super excited about, and I'm looking to kind of take and turn it into something much larger than it is. Still working on kind of what that vision really looks like. But what I do know is it's an area for people to have significant impacts on their personal and their business life. And that's all I could ever ask for.
I love that concept. As you know, I also am a millennial business owner. That is, for the most part, it's just me with some subcontractors. But just like you said, sometimes, you need someone that you can bounce ideas off of or have a good discussion about, because, you might think you're doing the right thing and you're chugging away at it, but someone might have an idea that, sparks something in your head and you're like, oh, wait, I should do it this way. I should incorporate this. I should try that. And I think that's so valuable. And I know that everyone in the group probably agrees that it's somewhere that is such an impactful place to grow. Like I said earlier with your real estate thing, together or work together to, I don't know, elevate everyone, if that makes sense.
And absolutely. And it's no matter what you're doing, if you can find other people doing the same thing, and a lot of times it helps if you find someone, a lot of times it's okay. A lot of times it helps when you find somebody who, my biggest thing is if you're looking to get involved in something, finding somebody who is where you want to be and just working with them. And sometimes you have to work with them and you're not going to get paid and you have to dedicate time and energy into it. But working with someone who is exactly where it is that you want to be, almost like a mentor, I guess you can say, it's so critical. And that's really what this is kind of all about, is all of these people, they come from different places, but we're all at a point in our careers and our lives that we want to grow. And we want to kind of take everything to that next step. So in order to do that, you have to bring different ways of thinking in. Life is basically just a giant question. You have to go about everything, and the better the questions that you ask and the different ways that you think about things, the more successful that you'll be. And that's really what it comes down to. So this kind of opens everybody's mind up to different ideas and opportunities and how to go about certain things. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and it connects to something you said about, earlier, where, and I know that you like precursored this, but like if you're not learning, you're not growing, and if you're not like learning or growing, you're dying. Is kind of the gist of what you said earlier. And I think especially now is an amazing time to take a course, join a group, do anything that's going to bring value to both yourself and your company and your clients. So I think that this is the perfect time for you to be doing this mastermind, especially because everyone is so far away, and having the ability to do a virtual room like you have been doing is amazing, because everyone could come. They don't have to worry about driving to a meeting. They just need to hop on and they can learn things that is going to make their business grow, especially after all of the craziness going on right now. Yes.
And the idea came where it was going to be virtual from the beginning. And that was probably the largest hurdle that I had to jump through, because the fear of people not wanting to not be in the same room together really kind of, I don't know, it wasn't sitting well with me for some reason. And then when this situation happened, there are some positive things that come out of it. I mean, there's for every negative, there's a positive, and vice versa. So it really kind of just is how you look at it with anything. It's all context.
Yeah, I think like one of the positives that did come out of this is now most people know how to use Zoom, and most people are familiar with using some sort of video, I don't know, platform, whether it's FaceTime, whether it's Zoom, whether it's, are people using Skype anymore? I don't know. But whatever it may be, I think it opens up a lot of possibilities for both, businesses in the future, if they're going to do things like you mentioned, doing virtual meetings with clients, or, getting together for something like the mastermind. I feel like before all of this was happening, people were like, oh no, webcam meeting, I can't do that. But now it's something that we all do every day. So I think that
the new norm.
Exactly, the new norm. And I think it's going to translate to some things being digital after the world starts up again.
I could not agree more. Any shifts that you can utilize and see that's happening during this time as a business owner, or even just as a person in general, it's critical to really see that, understand it, and utilize it. We're now looking into incorporating virtual reality into our construction company to try and eliminate the need to basically be meeting constantly face to face in order to design certain things. So the homeowners could literally just look and put on a headset at their house, be sitting on their couch and see what designs we've come up with and see if they like it, like literally almost in person. So you have to just kind of transition with the time.
Mm-hmm. That is totally next level, because I have not heard of anyone doing that, but that's such a smart idea. And, you know, that probably will make it a lot easier for people to get that vision in their head, because, you know, they can look at a flat piece of paper, but like just looking around like this and like as if it's right in front of them is going to give them so much more. We keep saying value, but like value and ability to make their decisions.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
It is cool. I mean, technology has definitely come a long way, and it gets better every year. So it's exciting to see what else comes from this.
Hopefully the next thing that you guys are doing is working on, you know, being able to teleport from room to room. So I'm up to you, but I think we'll stick with the 3D technology for now.
That would be awesome.
I'm waiting for it, but I also feel like that would be a really scary thing, because if the teleporting machine messes up, you know, it could be pretty bad.
Yeah, who knows where you end up?
I'm gonna end up on the top of a pyramid somewhere. It's gonna be horrible. So, Kevin, we have covered so much today. We talked about your family business. We talked about networking. We talked about, you know, the different events that you run. We've talked about the collaborations you're doing, the effect that, you know, social media has had with connecting with people. So many things. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to leave the audience with?
I mean, not necessarily anything specific. Do you have any cool final questions that are weird and unique?
I think that my final question is, where do you see the future of My Boys and the future of you and your career?
So we're looking to take this new division and be able to scale it and really amplify the amount of value that we can provide, because over the last few, go ahead.
The where you're bringing everything that is pre-built, correct?
Yes.
Right.
So the reason that this kind of started and this idea came up was because a lot of times, especially recently, we don't take on a lot of projects. So typically at any given point, we're usually booked out for sometimes a year. Mm-hmm. And as much as that's great, it also, you know, I wish that we can take on every project. I mean, I pass up more projects than we actually entertain taking on, which is, you know, it's good and bad. I would love to be able to accommodate everyone. And what this will allow us to do is to really kind of take a lot of those projects that we do pass up and be able to actually still provide that value and continue down the road. So our vision as a company is, this is something that 3 years and 10 years from now, it's going to be much larger than what we have right now. Mm-hmm. And we would look to be able to take this where it's a model that we can utilize and take throughout the tri-state area. So it's not just Long Island, and it's not going to be just Suffolk or just Nassau or, you know, in the boroughs or whatever. It's something we would look to stretch into different states. And then personally, I mean, I am very excited to be able to start to bring on more members and also bring on, you know, kind of launch this whole mastermind and coaching career that I'm getting involved in right now. Mm-hmm. And also grow my real estate portfolio. So basically all three of the, you know, everything that we've spoken about today is really just different ways of providing value. And I look to just continue to amplify how much of an impact that I can have on this world.
That's an amazing and inspiring story for both what you want to do at your business and what you want to do yourself, because obviously you want to help as many people as you can, and that's amazing.
That's it. But the long-term goal is to have a positive impact on 500,000 people. So until I get there, then I'll reshift those goals and we'll talk again.
Well, once you hit that, you are welcome back to tell us how you did that. But Kevin, if someone wants to connect with you after this show, I know I have some links in the description, but what's the best way to get a hold of you?
So the best way, depending on, I guess, which avenue it would be is to email me. It's kevin.myboys@gmail.com. You can also message me on Instagram. I'm a little bit slower with responses on that. And emails, I usually check every once or twice every other day. I'm not the greatest with responses, but I will get back to you, I promise. But those are really the two different ways that I would recommend.
Awesome. So I want to thank you so much for coming on today and giving us some insight about what your business is doing, what it's working on, obviously the amazing collaboration you guys are doing, the real estate, what you guys are doing on social media, and all of the other things your what's it called? I lost the word. Your mastermind. That's the word. All of these things that we got into. So I love that, you're working on so many things and bringing so many people together, and I'm just thankful that you had time to talk to us today. So thank you again for being on.
No, I'm grateful that you had me on. I love what you're doing here, Celia, and this is going to provide just as much value. So I can't wait to watch more episodes of this.
Well, I'm going to take you off of here real quick, and I'm going to close up the episode. But if you stay on for a second, I will thank you off screen.
Okay.
Bye,
everyone.
So thank you to everyone who tuned in today. I know we have some comments over there, and Paul says, "Hey Kevin, this guy is at every networking event ever. It's amazing." And yes, this is very true. Kevin is everywhere. So if you guys want to tune in and watch this from the beginning, you can watch it on the Celia Werner Productions Facebook page. You can watch it on YouTube, Spotify podcasts, Google podcasts, Apple podcasts, SoundCloud. We are everywhere. And I would love if you guys can, like, comment, share this with someone that, it would bring some value to. And if you guys want, you guys can follow my page. We're doing these shows 5 days a week. And I would love to hear back from you guys if you guys have any kind of person, industry, whatever it may be that you guys want to hear about. So I am enjoying doing these, and I love hearing back from you guys. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow on the show. I hope you guys also have a great day. I really need to script the outro to this, but it'll happen eventually. So bye, guys.